Don't make me come to Dallas. Oh, wait. Don't make me come to Vegas.
Don't make me go back to Vegas.
Don't make me go back to Dallas.
Well, Tori made us go to Dallas.
And Vegas.
And Vegas. She did all the things simply by drawing a few lines on a map that she didn't even actually travel on herself.
We're kidding, Tori. You can make us come
Anywhere. Anytime.
It makes you Jesus.
It does. Or the Mary of it all.
Yes, indeed. Beautifully done.
Hi, I'm Michael Earp.
And I'm Bailey Turner,
Welcome to Michael's Walk.
the podcast.
Michael's Walk is a road trip, a search for something. Spoilers, it's myself, and it was inside all along.
If only it were that simple.
Driven by Tori Amos's album, Scarlet's Walk, I'm recreating the journey Scarlet took in its 20th anniversary year.
I'll also be there.
With the loving and patient
Always patient.
support of Bailey and Teague Lee, 3 trans queers set out across America
That's 33 states in 55 days.
to connect with the songs, the land that inspired them, and the fans inspired by the songs. We'll talk music, travel, healing, and hope as we ask the questions: how do I heal from 15 years of coercive control and manipulation?
And what role does the music we listen to play in our own relationship narratives?
We've self-produced this podcast and trip.
You can support us via GoFundMe.
For the full story, head to michaelerp.net. So, Don't Make Me Come to Vegas on Scarlett's map stretches from Austin
In Texas.
to
Or-
Tahlequah
Yeah.
in,
Or around, up in...
Oklahoma. And so for our stretch, we had our time in Dallas up to like half the day of our drive from Dallas to Kansas City was on Don't Make Me Come to Vegas.
That's right. And me and Teague spent a little time in San Antonio. Wait, never mind.
No.
Scratch that. What the devil I was thinking.
And that's all right. It points there.
Yeah, I don't know why that happened. My brain broke.
When we were in Dallas, we only really had time to do sort of one thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
And so we tried to make it the most Texan thing we could think of.
Well, we were recommended.
Yeah, to do a Texan activity. And so we drove out to Fort Worth Cattle Station,
The stockyards.
and watched a cattle drive with bulls with bigger horns.
They were longhorns.
Longhorns. I've never seen these in person before.
Yeah. Oh, neither have I. I've seen them in pictures and they're
But
amazing.
they were just incredible.
They're beautiful.
What's Mother Nature doing? Like, that's just impractical.
It was impractical. There was a really funny moment. They were like, one of them had like a curve and it kind of like scooped up the one in front of its butt.
And was
Hurried
obviously trying to move a bit faster than the one in front was moving. And then after watching these beautiful, majestic beasts, we went inside and all you could eat them.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, we got all you can eat ribs.
And
Oh, God. Jesus.
as is the Texan way.
Yes, indeed. It was blistering hot. And it was a mega drive to get there, but
Yeah,
it was worth it.
I think it was worth it. It was a nice taste of Texas.
Yeah, it was something particularly Texan. I really wanted to go to the JFK Memorial Museum, but just kind of the time ran out. But there'll definitely be a few question marks around Dallas. I would definitely like to revisit there.
And then after All You Can Eat, we went into this little record shop where Bailey was mistaken for Tori Amos.
I forgot about that.
By someone who had no idea
Clearly
who Tori
had no
Amos
idea who
was.
Tori Amos was.
I had simply asked for anything Tori Amos, and she said, no, I don't have anything. But then I found Under the Pink in their CD section.
Which I think like the woman had seen like Tori in 92, like the red, like just the red hair, I think was sort of what probably did.
No, it's just she literally looked at the cover of Under the Pink and saw reddish hair and then turned and was like, is that her?
No.
But if only.
but
Tori,
I can die
if
happy.
you're listening and you would like to join our road trip,
Yeah, and meet your doppelganger.
We will. There is room in the car.
We're saving that story for when she comes to Australia for meet and greet. I cannot wait to tell her.
And then
Headed back to I think we can call
safely
it.
say the worst motel we stayed in this entire trip.
Yeah, it probably wasn't the worst in terms of quality, but just the experience was god awful.
The quality was appalling.
It was, but Ash Fork was the worst for quality. Like the crickets and the shitty, the microwave on the floor.
Well, this one
and
didn't
the
have a
tiny
microwave
room.
to put on the floor.
At least it had a working shower. Like,
Right.
just
It also had broken lampshades and cigarette burns in the.
and people banging on the door asking to come inside to use a phone charger. It was,
and then the police were there raiding another room when we got up to leave at 5 a.m. So yeah, all told, it was a colourful experience.
Well, you met someone in Denver who lived near the area
And was like, oh, you stayed there? That's known for like pay by the hour kind of. And I was like, oh, right. Okay.
No surprise, the people, like, it was also the worst customer service experience.
Yes.
Anyway, it was a nightmare.
But we left at 5 a.m. in order to do our 12-hour drive, including stops, all the way up to Kansas City. But our first stop on that drive was at this gorgeous little campground called Juniper Point. And we found it really beautiful and grounding.
Gorgeous. Really, really beautiful.
These juniper trees like growing out into the water. It was fascinating. I've seen water reclaim space where trees have grown before, but I didn't get the impression that that's what had happened.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I mean, it must have been what happened. Like, like trees can't. Well, maybe they can. I don't know. I would like to speak to a botanist.
Yes. If you're a botanist and you're listening, please get in touch and tell us how junipers came to be in water.
Juniper tree
is telling me
whether it grows in water or not.
Let's stop there.
Sweetie, we're sorry. Yeah. Yeah, we were really thrilled that we planned our day so that we could really have a moment in each of the Native American nations that we were going to be crossing through. So we were in Choctaw.
Yeah.
And then went to Muskogee.
And then through Cherokee.
We went through Cherokee as we went through Wampum Prayer. But yeah, it was really lovely, and we've kind of continued this. We really continued the ritual of taking a bit of time, taking our shoes off, and just popping our feet in a stream, and just taking a breath and taking a moment to realize where we are and how lucky we are, and just let it wash over us what's going on. It's just such a beautiful way to kind of dial in. And so we got to do that once in every territory.
You did that inadvertently today.
I did do it inadvertently today. Yeah, we'll tell. We were at Yellowstone today. I wanted a photo on a log. I fell off the log and yeah, my shoes got a little wet. It serves me right for the one time I've walked into water without taking my shoes off, which is what I should have done.
Anywho.
Better the devil you know.
Yes.
Fool me once.
So that was our trip.
Well, we also stopped in Tahlequah for lunch.
Oh, yes.
And we had a really good conversation about how our experience on the Don't Make Me Come to Vegas sort of journey was related to the song, which is obviously a very different story about Scarlett going to rescue a friend who was stuck in a toxic relationship and environment in Vegas, which would also force Scarlett to come confront one of her old lovers who kind of reigned as king there. And we observed that we were on such a beautiful journey. It was so naturally beautiful and soulful. And the thought of someone contacting us while we were on that trek and going, I'm in trouble, and like, don't make me leave this journey. Don't make me kind of divert from this incredible, deep, country experience to come to what I called the electric vomit vortex.
Yeah. But also that the encouragement for that person to sort out their own life so as not to interrupt Scarlett's. There was a bit of that very much, well, we were enjoying our time here. There's no way in hell we'd want to be dragged out of this and put into Vegas.
And we would do it if we had to. For someone
absolutely.
if someone was in trouble, we would do it.
Yeah.
But kind of that's where those dots really connected for us. But getting into the song, what does the song mean to you?
Well, I've always enjoyed this song just, I don't know, maybe on more of a surface level perhaps. I think it's got a good vibe. I like the sound of it. I like the refrain about the jacaranda tree. I also, the remix that was Timo on Tori vinyl was the first ever vinyl that I bought, was the remix single of Don't Make Me Come to Vegas. And I literally bought it and got it home before it occurred to me that I didn't own a turntable. And so that started my record collection, Don't Make Me Come to Vegas. I feel like it's kind of like a big sister singing to me in some ways, encouraging me to, think about what's going on in my life and how to deal with that. Because, you don't want to piss off your big sister by making them come to Vegas.
You don't want to owe her that one.
Yeah. So I guess I don't think I ascribed too much of my past relationship to it. So I just sort of enjoyed it for what it was. How about you? I know you've struggled to connect with this one in the past.
When we sort of do the rankings, Don't Make Me Come to Vegas has long been sort of the bottom of the list. And I think it's just because the tune of it always struck me as a bit janky, and I just never really kind of got it until, because when we first started Michael's Walk, we went to Vegas. We just started talking about the song quite a lot, and it was on the set lists of the shows.
Yeah.
And I mean, I would say it's one of those songs, and that everyone sort of talks about. There are Tori songs that you don't really connect with until you hear them live. And I'd say that when I saw the Unrepentant Geraldine's tour, yes, Anastasia was that for me. I always found it a bit too intense and a bit overproduced, and I didn't kind of really enjoy it until I heard it live, and now I think it's just one of the best pieces of music in all Christendom. On the Native Invader tour, it was Juarez, which I loved having back on this tour. But hearing Don't Make Me Come to Vegas live and hearing the stories and learning more about the song, I think made a huge difference to me. Particularly that sort of second verse and the narrative about facing your own demons. She's really singing about a trauma response from past relationship, and knowing that, that kind of, the jacaranda tree is telling me it's not over yet, and what happens when you leave things unresolved, and when, you have to face your abuser again, in order to save someone else's life, in order to save their situation. There are just, in life there are people who have a hold on you, and from that standpoint, I could really connect to this girl and really relate to her from my own experience of what I'm trying to process now, and have tried to process a lot in the past when it comes to going back to my hometown where former lovers exist, or, visiting people and possibly running into other humans, or needing to put time in with people that I know put me at risk, but I kind of have to do it in order to be in the area. It really kind of is something that I have developed a strong relationship to on this particular tour.
Well, for me, it's also a nice reminder to check the ranking of my priorities for this entire project, in that I do have the ultimate goal of, I hope this project helps people and reaches people and moves people. But I can't put that above me dealing with my own shit first.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I have to face my own,
100%.
past in order to then be able to...
You fit your own oxygen mask before fitting the people next to you.
Thank you, air hostess.
Turner. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Like, you have to do it yourself so you can show people what the rest of the way is. it's not this isn't an American's direction sort of thing. Or well, what you want to do is you want to go here and then you want to do a bit of that and then
I love that.
and then you want to go about 6 miles left. It's the only road. Like
When Americans are giving you directions, that's what they say. They say, well, what you're going to do is you're going to do this.
and then you want to do that.
And I'm just like, oh. And also, there's lots of, like the line from Best in Show, if you're tired, pull over. If you're hungry, eat something. Like, there's I think someone actually said to me once, oh, well, you could go out for dinner or make something in your room. And I was like, oh, are they the options?
You mean the only options I have?
The only options I have? Yeah.
Thanks. I mean, it was very sweet. It just was so funny.
But I seem to notice that a lot here in America, where stating the obvious as a part of idle conversation is the way they conduct themselves. And I find it charming.
So what advice do we have for Virginia?
Virginia. I want you to listen to your big sister. Like, don't reject advice out of pride. And, like, if your default position is defensive, like, why are you being defensive? It's not a battle. Someone's just given you some advice. And if they're important to you, then maybe pausing for a second, even if you think, oh, that's not us, I don't see it that way. Pausing for a moment to think, well, why did they see it that way? Listen to your aunt or your big sister.
You made a really good point when we were discussing this about finding out what they've actually observed.
Yeah.
Like, it's very easy for someone to say, oh, I don't trust that person, or, it doesn't seem quite right.
I don't like them.
Yeah. But,
I don't like them is a very broad statement.
Of course. And they might feel nervous about how to, but it's like, well, find out what it is they've observed, because that's what's going to be, leave it alone. Michael has been picking at a pimple and I've had to listen to your big sister. Yeah. So, it's about kind of getting a deeper understanding about the behavior that is causing the people who love you concern.
Yeah.
And looking at that behavior objectively. My advice for Virginia is, honey, you cannot save people. And I know this song is about sort of going in and fixing, but like, it actually isn't, it's not Scarlett saying that she actually did it. It's just, she's saying, please don't make me do this because I have to face my own demons. But it's that sense of, you can't ever really save people. Very few things have a clean resolution. There's always going to be kind of stuff in the mix, but everyone kind of has to figure their own thing out. And it's that same rule about, if you see someone drowning, actually this happened to us at Harvey Gap, where we went to have like a hug in the water and like she just sunk like a rock.
Oh, that was hilarious. We swam towards each other and I put my arms around Bailey thinking this will just be a lovely hug in the middle of the lake, and
sunk like
down
a stone.
we went. And whoops, that didn't work.
But it's that thing of, be really, so often we hear stories about people who go to rescue someone who's drowning and in their panic, they drown the person who came to rescue them. The same is true of life on land. Remember that there are people in the world who are paid and trained to help people suffering through all kinds of trauma. They're not always good at their jobs, but there are people, your friends and your family, they're always going to have a context and a vested interest, and you're always going to have a particular relationship dynamic that means you can't be objective. Always seek out at least one person, whether it be a therapist or a doctor or a faith leader or a authority figure or, a counselor, someone who, has been trained in some capacity to support you. I think that's really, really important.
That's great advice.
Thanks, my darling. Song swap time.
Yeah, let's swap some songs. This one, it was interesting thinking about this one and other songs.
I was really hoping that I could only kind of come up with one, and I'm really glad because another one has just popped into my head. So,
well, The first one that popped into my head was Little Sister by Jewel, because that's very much a big sister trying to look after their little sister who is getting into trouble with, I think the narrative is drugs and the drug dealer, and it's just going from bad to worse. And so it very much paralleled in my mind. And then a little bit different, more from Scarlett's perspective, I guess, when she realizes that she has unresolved issues with her ex. The song Better By Now by Ritual.
Which we heard in the car today, and I'm in love with it. It's a great song.
So gorgeous. But the chorus is, but you said I'd be better by now. All my friends said I'd be better by now. But who cares, because I'm not better by now. And I just think acknowledging that healing has its own timeline and it can't be set to a schedule.
Yeah, and the conditions under which you've healed can change.
Yeah.
You know, you can be very healed when someone is living a multitude of states away from you, and you can deal with that. But you know, the minute that suddenly you find that they've moved into their town, or they moved into your town, it all
can undo
again.
you.
Yeah.
And then I tried really, really hard to not include an Anne Brooke song, but I failed.
Damn you, Anne Brooke!
Because I really
we
feel
love you,
like
Andrew.
the Treehouse song speaks of this, again from Scarlett's perspective. You know, I was going to love you forever, and we were going to live in a treehouse and have lots of babies, but that didn't happen. And, you know, it's still a bit unresolved, but actually maybe things have turned out for the best. Yeah, and what was the other one that occurred to you? Oh, your two.
Well, I had, the first one was Don't Save Me by Haim. I love this song. It's all about you sort of recovering from relationships, but like sort of identifying that you don't want your next relationship to kind of try and heal your old one. Like it's don't, you know, the chorus is baby don't save me. And I thought it really kind of tied into that sense of what it means to kind of grow through relationships and try and recover. You know, they kind of say that you're never over your last relationship until your next relationship, but that can be unhealthy as well. And I felt that it was kind of pertinent to the way that this song is working.
Yeah.
And the second one that just kind of came to me was a song called Because I Love You by Montaigne. Each of the verses kind of describe this great relationship, but there's always just something off about it. Like you hear it and it's a really boppy song and it seems really loving, but you'll hear like one turn of phrase in each line and you're like, hang on, that's a bit weird. The sort of final chorus kind of goes, my parents feel like this is a waste of time. I tell them we're okay, I won't admit that I am blind. My friends all feel like I'm carrying us too. I tell them all that they are wrong because I love you. And it's that avoiding that, like, just like you said, like, you know, people in your life who know you very deeply and care for you very much are trying to share with you that something isn't right in the relationship. But like, until you're willing to face what's going on, there's only so much people can do to help you.
Yeah.
You know, before making people come to Vegas to, you know, shake you and make you realize that you're in a dangerous situation, figure it out yourself.
Yeah.
And you know, face those truths.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would also say, I've been writing a blog for every week that we've been away. And the one that I wrote recently, I feel like actually really applies. There's a bit of it that applies really well to this. So if you want to give it a read, if you head to baileyWrote.com, which is BAYLEYWROTE, the blog is called, like the blog piece is titled, You Know When You're Wrong, right? And I feel like it ties in, a lot of it, some of it ties in really well with this.
Yeah. Well, that was a lovely short and sweet episode.
Yeah, well, I think they deserved a short episode because, my goodness, the last few have been gargantuan.
Your cloud turned out to be an hour and a half.
I love it. I'm
Yeah.
here for it. I
I'm
ship
here
it.
for it
We
too.
stand We love to see it. Remember, you can continue to support us on GoFundMe. We're keeping that open to support with things like food and fuel to get us over the line this last sort of 2 weeks we've got left in America, and then to help us on the other side. Not just the debt, but also like we still have a lot of creative work
and the
to
creative
do.
work.
Like, you know, we actually have to write these mega projects that'll be coming out in the forthcoming year/years. So it all helps us kind of with the larger project scale as well. There are a multitude of ways you can support us. You can also PayPal us directly. We each have books and poems and subscriber sites and Patreons that you can use as well, if GoFundMe isn't your thing.
Yeah.
And we will see you in Wampum Prayer.
Wampum Prayer.
Here it comes.
Hear it. Yeah, it'll be a good one. The Michael's Walk podcast acknowledges that the journey they are undertaking takes place on the sacred and unceded nations of many proud Indigenous peoples. From the lands of the Wurundjeri and the Boonwurrung people of the Kulin Nation, we are fortunate to call home, to each and every Native American tribe's land we'll set foot on as we travel. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging, and humbly acknowledge their sovereignty.